Hello, everybody, and welcome to the New Flame Sports Podcast. And I am your host, Andrew, along with Kareem. Before we get into it, I had the absolute pleasure of going to the National Baseball Hall of Fame up in Cooperstown, New York. It's been one of my, things to do. I live fairly close to it, around 2.5 hours away, and that was just one of those things that I've been wanting to do, and I finally got to do it. I went with one of my good friends who's a big baseball fan, so it was just so fun to go. You see all the historic things of baseball. There was a whole section dedicated to Hank Aaron, obviously because to them he's the technical home run king or whatever, because they don't have Bailey Bonds in there yet. But I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but that's a whole nother discussion for a different day. But there was just so many things. There was a whole section dedicated to like the 2020 Dodgers and their World Series championship. On the third floor, there was a really interesting um really interesting room. It was like a locker room that had a locker for all 30 teams. It had like different like things. Like for the Nationals, that's just the one that's coming to me. It had like Howie Kendrick's home run ball in NLCS Game 7 versus the Dodgers off the foul pole that saved their season. So that was cool. They had the Baby Shark from Gerardo Parra that season as well. They had a little thing with the retired numbers. That was really cool. And then obviously the main attraction being that the plaque room or whatever the official name is. That it's just so cool to see. You see all the greats of baseball from Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, Cy Young, to like guys who were inducted this past season, with like Mariano Rivera. But unfortunately, the class of 2020 don't have their plaques in there yet because they haven't technically been inducted into the Hall of Fame. They've been voted in and all that. So that's the guys like Jeter, Larry Walker. Trying to think who else was in this class. Can't remember, but guys that were voted in last year and will be inducted in this year. Their plaques weren't up just because they haven't been officially inducted yet or whatever. But that was cool. Along the streets, there's a lot of shops that sell, like baseball cards, different, like memorabilia, different things like that, like shirts, things like that. I personally am getting into card collecting, so I bought a Bo Jackson rookie card. Baseball Royals, I bought two Gleyber Torres cards because he's my favorite player. I bought a Davy Garcia rookie code because I feel like he's going to be really good. I liked what I saw last year. An Ozzy Albies rookie code as well. Jose Fernandez code just because, Jose Fernandez was just so good, and then we all know what happened. I also bought a Mike Trout code. Nothing special, it was just $2, and I can't find it. So if I go there again, which I am planning to go with my sister sometime soon, I'll probably just buy another one. They had plenty of Mike Trouts there, but it's just seeing different things along the streets. There was a place I was really tempted to get a personalized like Louisville Slugger bat. It was only $30. I was so tempted to do it. It's like, nah, I just can't. I'm not at like where I'm gonna start using wood bats anytime soon. But if like I was, I'd buy one. I don't even think you can use them actually, because I don't know if they're like actual bats. But I'm getting sidetracked, but back to the actual Hall of Fame. There was a video at the beginning that's just absolutely incredible. Um, I went with my mom and my friend, like I said, and it was like, as someone who lives and breathes baseball, it was just so it made me emotional. I know it made my mom cry, so take that as you want. So and then just other things, we saw like the history of the sport, and yes, it is a sport, Kareem. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So what? So what did he say in school the other day then? Okay, you just wrong, but okay. You just okay, whatever. But anyway, we saw the history of the sport. Like there was like the first ever baseball like that was like recorded or whatever. There was like different things. There was a whole like section dedicated to cards and the history of cards. We saw reprints of like the '56 mantle. the Honus Wagner, the Mike Trout Bowman rookie. We saw all those. Those are really cool. Um, and then, like I said, the plaque room with all that. There was a section dedicated to baseball movies, which I thought was really cool. It was just a small section, but you just go throughout different things. Like there was a whole thing dedicated to the like Hispanic players. There was a thing dedicated to like the black players in the Negro leagues. Back when those were a thing. Um, there was a thing about like women in baseball, which was really cool to see. So if you haven't had the opportunity to go and you want to, and it's close. Like for me, it was. I would highly recommend to go. Parking in this certain area near Doubleday Field, which is where baseball was invented. That was so cool. You couldn't really see inside, but just seeing it was really cool. But it's fairly cheap to get in at $25 per like adult, so that's anyone 25 and older, or not 25, anyone 13 and older. And then different ages are different prices. So anyway, that was just really cool for me. Always wanted to do it, and I finally did. So yeah, just it was a totally awesome experience. If you haven't done it, that's one thing that you have to do if you're a baseball fan. So with that out of the way, I just thought I'd mention that because it was just such an awesome experience. On to the most recent sports activity and Coach Madness. They don't call it's not madness for nothing. One of the biggest upsets so far has probably been today. Actually, Loyola, Illinois beat Illinois, the number one seed, the team that everyone was bandwagoning this year. They beat them by like was the final score like 71-58. They beat them like by like 13. It's like I could not watch the game. Kareem, I think you said that you watched it. Yeah. Why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about like what all happened?
Oh no. Yeah, sorry for that awkward cut. I somehow, some way, my microphone, like, it changed or something in my computer, so I have no idea what happened there, and it stopped right as we started talking about March Madness, so sorry about that cut. But anyway, continuing on, I haven't watched a lot of it, as I mentioned, briefly mentioned Loyola, Illinois, is it Loyola, Chicago?
It's I'm pretty sure it's Loyola Chicago.
So they beat the number one ranked team in that region, Illinois. What a shocker! Just no one saw that coming at all. But I'll try to watch more of it. It's just gonna be hard, like most of the games are gonna be happening while we're at school. But I'll try to watch some highlights and all that. So sorry if you're looking for some in-depth March Madness coverage. But so yeah, like I said, the recording that we did stopped 7 minutes in, so we talked about a lot, including the first thing, Kyle Juszczyk returning 5 years, 27 million, good deal. Anything that's like not really that important or anything that like you probably didn't hear about, we're not going to talk about like at all. Maybe I'll just mention it, but Kyle Juszczyk back with the 49ers, best fullback in the league for a reason, deserves his money, and he got it. Andrew Norwell restructures, don't need to talk about that. He's good, whatever. Kevin Zeitler to the Ravens, protecting Lamar Jackson. I was actually thinking that they would go after a wide receiver more than a offensive lineman, but hey, Ravens are going to protect Lamar Jackson. I think they're losing Orlando Brown Jr. sometime soon, so I think they're planning for the future on a 3-year, $22.5 million deal. One of the better offensive linemen in the class. Shaq Barrett returning to the Bucks on a 4-year, $72 million contract, worth up to. One of the best pass rushers in the league. Really helped the Buccaneers win that Super Bowl. So definitely a good deal from the Bucks. So definitely a good deal from the Bucks there as they re-sign their star pass rusher. Next, Romeo Okwara, breakout 2020 season for the Detroit Lions, coming back 3-year, $39 million. Great signing for them. I honestly think they probably a little bit overpaid for him, but signs with the Lions, and hopefully, sometime soon, Jeff Okudah can develop. They can add more to that defense. They can help out Jared Goff on the offense. Not saying that they're going to be good this year, or even next year, or even the year after that, but hey, give it, 4-5 years, they might be okay. They might be able to sneak into the playoffs. But I think the Lions, this needed to happen after a breakout 2020. So yeah, first real big Pats signing. We'll talk about as much as we can, but we are on a little bit of a time crunch. Johnny Smith and Devon Godshaw. So Godshaw coming over from the Miami Dolphins. I've seen him play a lot, and he's a big boy. He will eat up offensive linemen, and he will reach for the running back and stop them. One of the better just bull rushers in the league. Great run stopper. Not so much in like pass rusher, but not 2 years. 2 years for him. He's fairly young. I think he's like 26. So I think the Pats and the Dolphins obviously have similar schemes because Flores and the defensive coordinator and all that. So coming over from the Dolphins to the Pats, good deal from them. Johnny Smith, 4 year, $50 million, and this is just. And I think with all the signings that they made, it's just, can we win? I think it's like back in the original recording, I mentioned the idea of like a prove it contract, which is where you'll sign someone to like a 1 year cheaper deal, for them to prove it. And I think this is a prove it year for Cam Newton to prove that he can still be good in the NFL. And adding Johnny Smith, adding Hunter Henry, adding Nelson Aguilar will be able to help with that. So Johnny Smith, 4 years, $50 million for a I'm not going to say top 5, top 10 tight end in the league in Johnny Smith. Titans, really like to use him, incorporate him in their game plan. He had a great start to the season, very much slowed off near the end of the season, which is like the deciding factor of them not bringing him back. Patriots scoop him up. Next, we won't talk about these. Texans made a lot of signings, not like great. They signed like Mark Ingram, Andre Roberts, Camus Cruz, Hill. They did sign Desmond King, which I like. But next up, 49ers re-signing Jason Verrett. Healthy Jason Verrett is very good. He showed it last year, back when Sherman was on IR. So I think, let's see, 1 year, $5.5 million. He's betting on himself this year that he can show that he's gonna be good again. So I really liked what he did last year. I think he missed a game or two then. That's been his problem his entire career, is dealing with the injuries. I think he was on the Chargers. He didn't get extended, signed with the 49ers, and the 49ers are just defensive mastermind. They will make any defender good. And that's what they did with Jason Verrett. So I think he's trying to build up his value so he can test free agency next year when that rolls around again. Sorry for speeding through this. It's just really annoying. This has happened to us twice where it'll just stop the recording, so I'm speeding through this. We're almost at the point where we were before. Matt Judon and Jalen Mills to the Patriots. Mills, 4 year, $24 million. And this is one, and we mentioned it, we were like, coming in the next couple of years, they're going to have to start cutting some guys, especially if the cap room continues to drop, and Jalen Mills might be one of those guys, because this is one of those prove-it contracts, except over 4 years. It's weird, but Jalen Mills has been not great with the Eagles, so I think Patriots are like, here, come loan behind J.C. Jackson and Stephon Gilmore for these years, and maybe you can, develop, and then he'll test the open market and get big money. And they might play him at safety with Patrick Chung retiring. So, I think this can either be this is low risk, high reward for the Patriots here with Jalen Mills. Next up, Matthew Judon, 4 year. They like to sign 4 year contracts, but 4 years, $56 million for Matt Judon, and teaming him up with Kyle Van Noy and Dante Hightower, who will be coming back as a scary trio, my bad. Matthew Judon coming off the edge, Hightower and Van Noy in pass coverage. With Judon can do a little bit of, so I definitely like this deal. 4 years, $56 million, 32 guaranteed. Great deal from the Pats. Probably got him, but probably slightly above what I would have expected him to get. Honestly, but they got their guys that they wanted, and they went crazy in free agency. So, there's just so much that you can bring up with the Patriots. They're putting all their eggs in one basket with Cam Newton here this season, and I think this offseason, that's what everyone is saying. So, and I agree with that. So, Next up, another AFC East team, the Jets signed former Lions linebacker Gerard Davis, 1 year, $7 million. I'm not gonna say anything I don't know here. He's okay, I guess. Chiefs signed former Patriots offensive lineman Joe Tooney, 5 years, $80 million, and this makes the release of Mitchell Schwartz even dumber because now you can team him up with Joe Tooney and Mitchell Schwartz, one of the better offensive linemen in the league. But 5 years, $80 million for a little bit younger of a guy than Schwartz. So I think obviously the Chiefs had to find a way to protect Mahomes, and they're still not going to be great this year, but they're going to be. I think Joe Tooney definitely helps them. They're going to get Laurent Duvernay Tardif back next year, coming off of helping with COVID and all that. So I really like this deal, and yeah, for the Chiefs, just protecting Mahomes is going to be key to keeping him healthy and building on his legacy that will very much continue to go on. Lions cut offensive lineman I've never heard of. Next up, Browns are adding John Johnson to that woeful safety core. I guess Andrew Sandejo was the only bad part of it. But Grant Delpit will be coming back. I know you guys are really happy about this. So try in your best speed. Like we've already done this before. Let's just get it over with type of way. You know what I'm trying to say. Take it away.
Alright. Browns, John Johnson, obviously, I'm incredibly happy and excited about this 3 years, $33.75 million, 24 of it, fully guaranteed. As fills a big hole for the Browns, obviously one of the smartest safeties in the league and one of the best safeties in the league. That's all I gotta say because we gotta keep this thing short and sweet. I'm gonna pass this off to Dean. See what he thinks.
Obviously, the Browns signing two new players, Troy Hill and John Johnson III. Troy Hill basically coming in for Kevin Johnson and I guess Terrence Mitchell. And obviously the safety, John Johnson III, coming in for Sandejo, who played pretty bad last year. The second half of the season, he played a lot better, but I'm just going to send this back to Andrew.
Continuing on, Jag signed defensive tackle Roy Robertson Harris. Never heard of him. Not gonna say anything. Lions bring back Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Never heard of him again, so I'm not gonna say anything. Dietrich Wise returning to the Patriots on a does not say how long of a contract. Oh wait, did he opt out last year? So he's officially unopting out. Maybe I don't know. But he's coming back to the Patriots. Will just help out that defensive line. He's been an okay player throughout his career. Just that Patriots defense as a whole is going to be very good. Next up, we got Samson Ebukam signing 2 years with the 49ers. Linebacker, I think he's an outside linebacker, so not much to talk about here. They got Fred Warner on the inside now. They got Ebukam on the outside, so not much to talk about here. With that signing, definitely a good move. 2 year, $12 million. He was with the Rams formerly. He's been okay throughout his career. Oh wait, no, he's a defensive lineman. I don't know why I thought he was a linebacker. I don't know. Former Cowboys Malik Jackson signing 1 year contract with the Texans. Like I said, Texans are making lots of moves here, so not much to talk about here. They just need as much help as on that team as they need. And obviously with Deshaun Watson, I don't know what to make out of Deshaun Watson here. So I don't know what to make out of what Deshaun Watson. I don't know if this helps or hurts his situation of getting out of Houston. Also, I'm talking about his sexual assault allegations. So I don't know if that helps, but back on the Texans signing Malik Jackson, Collins. Not much to talk about there. So yeah. Sam Sutton returns to the Steelers, 2 year, $9 million. Not much to talk about here at all. He's been probably the number 2, 3 corner, probably 3, for the Steelers. And with a division that doesn't have great wide receivers, with the Bengals losing AJ Green and the Browns' third receiver is is Rashard Higgins. Assuming Odell stays, he's pretty good, but he's probably the best number 3 in that division. And then outside of the Steelers, and then the Ravens just don't have any wide receivers at all. So, good deal. And for a guy who won't be having to go up against great wide receivers as a number 3, could be pretty good. Next up, one of the better offensive linemen here, Corey Linsley to the Chargers, 5 years. Gotta protect Herbert. Man, their golden goose, Justin Herbert. So, $62 million with 17 guaranteed, and I think he's just so good. I think he will make close to that 62.5 million. So Corey Linsley is pretty young. I want to say he's around 27, somewhere around that age. So he'll get out of this contract at around age 32, somewhere in that range. So I definitely like this signing for the Chargers, and for an offensive lineman that's been just not good. They lost Mike Pouncey, or one of the Pounceys. I believe it's Mike, who's with the Chargers. So, signing a center was one of their needs, and they definitely got one of the best centers in the game with Corey Linsley here. Shelby Harris returning back to the Broncos, 3 year, $27 million. He's been okay past 4 seasons, but he's been actually looking into his little thing here. He says that he's actually been pretty good. So Broncos have been quietly having a good offseason. It definitely helped that they signed Kyle Fuller, which we will talk about later. But I feel like, but back to the Chargers with Corey Linsley, I think that was a great deal. But Broncos re-signed Shelby Harris, pretty good deal, got him pretty cheap. So that's really all to talk about for those two. I need to take a breath. I might let you guys talk about the next couple of signings while I go get a drink of water. Kind of just a makeshift setup here. So I'll let you guys talk about the next few signings until I get back.
All right. So, obviously the Raiders sign really just the biggest, one of the best defensive ends, possibly the best defensive end in free agency, Yannick Ngakoue, to a 2-year, $26 million deal, which includes 22 of it guaranteed. Obviously, they got a guy that's lining up across Max Crosby, who's one of the best defensive ends in the league. So this Raiders team, they're doing a lot. Yannick Ngakoue coming from the Baltimore Ravens. He had a very short time with the Vikings and obviously with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Yannick Ngakoue, big free agent addition, giving him around $13 million a year. Next big signing, Patriots bring in for the same exact money and the same exact time frame, Nelson Aguilar, the former Las Vegas receiver, to a 2-year, $26 million deal. It's kind of weird. The Raiders signed Ngakoue to a 2-year, $26 million deal, and then the former Raiders also signed to a 2-year, $26 million deal. Patriots really need wide receivers. I'm not going to sit here and act like Nelson Aguilar is a true number 1 receiver, because he's not. He's a good number 2 or number 3. I'm not saying he's a true number 1.
He had a really good season last year.
He's not a true number 1 receiver.
He's not a true number 1, but he had 800 plus yards. I remember that. I remember that game versus the Dolphins, and had 2 good plays.
All right, that's just really it on that. Not really much to say there. Some big news for the Rams, though. Leonard Floyd, 4 years, $64 million. Man's got his paycheck, if you know what I'm saying. This man had a career-high 10.5 sacks, started all 16 games. And obviously that top-ranked defense in the NFL just seems like it keeps getting better with the re-signing of Leonard Floyd. They've lost some guys into free agency like Troy Hill and John Johnson. But that defensive line has already been the best in the league, without a doubt. They've got... they don't have Michael Brockers anymore, but they do have... Of course, they still have Aaron Donald. Fine. Best defensive end in the league. Myles Garrett's number 2. Myles Garrett could easily be number 1 after this year.
Easily, yeah.
But if Aaron Donald gets hurt and Myles Garrett has at least 12 sacks, come on.
Yeah.
All right. But that's a big time signing just to the money and time. 4 years, $64 million. He had a really, really good season, as I previously mentioned. I mean, this guy's one of the best rushing, I guess, down linebackers you could call him in the league. Obviously, those kind of guys like Khalil Mack that are designated as linebackers, but pretty much playing the line all game. Next big signing, the Broncos bring in a defensive back, Ronald Darby, to a 3-year deal that includes $19.5 million guaranteed. That is worth up to $30 million with stuff like incentives. Ronald Darby played for Washington last year. He started all 16 regular season games last year for Washington on his $4 million 1-year deal, which was the first time in a 6-year career, and he's only 27 years old still. So I mean, he's still a young guy. He hasn't hit the full potential of his prime. You gotta wait till he's at least 29 or 30. That's really prime age. So Ronald Darby, one of the better defensive backs in the league. I feel like he's pretty underrated. Honestly, to be completely honest, he had a really good time before Washington. If I'm not mistaken, he played with Philadelphia.
Yeah, I believe so.
And yeah, he had quite a good adventure there. So Ronald Darby, great signing for the Broncos, big time $30 million. Really helps out that defensive backfield. Obviously, with the franchise tag on Justin Simmons.
But they also re-signed him long term.
They did re-sign him long term. So Justin Simmons, Ronald Darby's back there. Do they still have AJ Bouye?
No, he's gone.
Alright, well, he's gone. That would have been really good. They have Ronald Darby him. So that's really it. I mean, Jaguars have some stuff signing Philip Dorsett, Carlos Hyde. But before that, Gronk resigns with the Buccaneers. Just a 1-year deal worth up to $10 million. Obviously, we're gonna get to see Brady and Gronk for another full year, which it's gonna be fun for a lot of people to see. Obviously, really Gronk at this point is just trying to stay with Brady as long as possible after the whole retire thing. Come back to football, play with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, win a Super Bowl.
Win a Super Bowl.
You know, yeah. Kareem, can you present your screen actually?
Okay.
The thing it's weird. It's bugging out. But anyway, you mentioned Philip Dorsett. He's just a really fast guy. So yeah, Philip Dorsett. They also signed a guy who's familiar with Urban Meyer, Carlos Hyde at Ohio State. Both are meh signings. Like, I honestly could not care less. Philip Dorsett's probably going to be their number 2 behind, or number 3 behind Keelan Cole and DJ Chark, with assumedly Trevor Lawrence throwing them the ball. So, I mean, they're gonna be below average, both of them. Jags, Carlos Hyde is probably gonna be a number 2 back. He's gonna be a number 2 back behind rookie star James Robinson. Not thinking of the name for a second. But anyway, continuing on, Jets making some moves, trying to compete with the Pats, signing Corey Davis, $27 million. How long is it? 3 year? Yeah, 3 year, $37.5 million. $37.5 million with 27 guaranteed from the Jets. I think Corey Davis can be good. You just never quite unlock that true potential with Tennessee. But he had Marcus Mariota, so he wasn't, great or anything like that. They added Tannehill, and he's finally started to, find his stride, get that connection with Tannehill going. But it just so happened to be his contract year, in which he gets a nice paycheck from the New York Jets. So, teaming up with Jamison Crowder, Denzel Mims up there in New York with, I'm just going to say now, Zach Wilson. So, I definitely like this signing from the Jets. They're trying to build up that offense. They still need a running back. They still need a tight end. They still need a line. Mekhi Becton is really good. But I like this move from the Jets. It's a more of, let's build for, the next 2 years more than this year, which they're still not going to be good this year. Probably not next year either. So, I like this move from the Jets. So, yeah, continuing on, Kareem, can you scroll up a little bit? Alright. Continuing. Oh, I want to talk about D'Amico Autry. He's actually pretty good, and signing Bud Dupree. We'll talk about these hand in hand here. Bud Dupree and D'Amico Autry. D'Amico Autry is actually pretty good with the Colts. Pretty good with the Colts with DeForest Buckner. So he's never been like a star or anything like that, but he's quietly been putting in great, not great seasons, but pretty good seasons. They got him pretty cheap, not gonna lie. So they signed him and Bud Dupree, who I said it last week. He needs another guy on that line to really unlock his potential, which we saw with T.J. Watt. So I think D'Amico Autry, yes, he's not T.J. Watt or anything like that, but I think he can be one of those guys that can allow Bud Dupree to get more pressure on the quarterback. So I think the Titans still need one or two more pieces, especially in the defensive backs. So they're boosting up that defensive line, that linebacker core, but they still need help at corner. I think they could definitely benefit from a guy like Adoree Jackson. Although he was just on the Titans, so they would have re-signed him by now, but they could definitely. I think Richard Sherman is another guy that could go there and just help immediately and be a number 1 or 2 corner for them. So Titans are still 1 or 2, 3 pieces away on defense to be considered AFC. I think to be considered AFC. They were still really good on offense. They still got A.J. Brown. They kept the power 3 with Henry, Brown, and Tannehill together. They did lose Jonnu Smith. I thought they were gonna sign Hunter Henry. They didn't. They still got but they lost Corey Davis as well. So I don't know if the Titans are gonna win that division. I think Carson Wentz can rebound, and I think the Colts will win that division next year. As we know, the Jags and Texans ain't doing it. So, what do you guys think about these two? Why don't we hear from Dean, because I haven't heard from him for a while.
I'm just gonna go the first one, D'Amico Autry. Obviously, like Andrew said, I'm just gonna kind of keep this brief. He put in some good work with Indy. Obviously, he's never been a star or anything, just like you said, but definitely can be a difference maker in games, I think. And then obviously Bud Dupree. You saw what happened with the Steelers. Very good linebacker. Played some amazing games with the Steelers, and I really like him as a player. I think also he could be a really big difference maker.
And then obviously I like the Bud Dupree, and I like both of those signings. Got him pretty cheap. Bud Dupree 16 plus mil. Ooh, maybe not so much. That's a lot more than I expected, honestly. More than 16 a year. That is a yikes. But continuing on, Michael Davis and Devontae Booker. Not gonna say anything about those. Literally, I mean, we're on the thing that has literally everything. So some of these things you're just like, I don't really care about that. Not gonna lie. Next up, the W man himself, Jameis Winston, famous Jameis, who signs with the Saints on a 1-year deal. I said it earlier. This offseason was full of these prove-it deals, and this is another one. 1-year deal, $12 million. And I think he's the starter. I think Sean Payton is going to say, there is a battle for the starting job. There isn't. Jameis Winston is going to be the starter, I think. I'm going to say it's a 95% chance that he is, unless he's just absolutely awful in preseason and all that. I would say he is 95% going to be the starter on week 1. But with the Saints, I think sitting behind Drew Brees for a year helped him, has helped him, probably will help him a lot. I think also with Sean Payton, also having a great receiving back, instead of forcing one to Mike Evans, because the Buccaneers, they never really had a great running back with him, so he would just force them to Chris Godwin or Mike Evans or their tight ends. But now with the Saints, they have Michael Thomas, they have Alvin Kamara, they have these guys that no one's open. Michael Thomas, on these short routes that he's become famous for, he's open all the time. So, and also with Alvin Kamara, they're just like, oh, no one's open. Let me just hit Alvin Kamara out of the backfield. He's gonna get 5 yards every time. So I think the Saints they have a battle, I say with air quotes, for the open starting job at quarterback. I say it's 95% chance it's gonna be Jameis Winston. And I'm excited to see what he can do next year. I mean, obviously the whole E to W meme, the E to W, and then there was also the whole 30-30 season. So I'm very excited to see what he can do with the Saints next year. Continuing on, we got Carl Lawson signing with the Jets. So I mean, he was pretty good for the Bengals as a defensive end. 3 year, $45 million, 30 guaranteed. He was pretty good with the Bengals. Nothing too special, anything like that. But he's just one of those guys who's gonna get at least 5 sacks a season, if not more, probably closer to like 7, 8 sacks a season. So definitely a great deal from the Jets, trying to just build up for the future here, even though he is pretty old. Not gonna lie, but I like this signing. I like the amount, 15, maybe a little bit too much. I feel like I said it earlier. Like a lot of these teams are spending less than they normally would. Either teams spent a lot or teams did not spend at all. I feel like this offseason. It was the same with baseball, and I feel like it's gonna be the same with basketball this year. So, and it was kind of the same with hockey. Like I wouldn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, but like I'd see like one signing here, one signing there, one signing there, one signing there. It was nothing like too like for each team, but so. Definitely, I like Carl Lawson with the Jets. 3 years puts him. He's still gonna be, like at the tail end of his prime. You know, after that, probably play a few more years and retire. Continuing on, Broncos decline the option of safety Kareem Jackson, so that makes him a free agent, if I believe. Yep, he's a free agent. Guys, if you want to say anything, just interrupt. I honestly don't care. So decline the option of Kareem Jackson for the Broncos. Justin Simmons coming in long term. They still need another safety, but I think Kareem Jackson could definitely help out a team like the Titans, like I said, who need defensive backs. I mean, he's not great. He's not horrible. He's just okay. He's slightly above average, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I think he can be good. I don't know if he will though. Next, Texans signed Kevin Pierre-Louis. He was with Washington last year. Not gonna say anything. This is a theme of there have been a lot of signings, but a lot of these guys I don't know a whole lot about, so I'm not gonna say anything. Next big one. I'll let you guys have the next couple of signings, just because I feel like I've been talking a lot.
All right. Trey Hendrickson, this is a guy that I thought might go to Cleveland. It was really a thing between them, the Jets, and Cincinnati. He ended up going to Cincinnati on a big deal for 4 years, $60 million. If I'm Cleveland, I'm not trying to compete with a deal like that at all for a guy that's had one good year. I don't think he's worth 4 years, $60 million at all. I think that's overspending for a guy that's only had one good year. I mean, just like Andrew said, I'm going to say it again. It's another prove it kind of thing. Like, are you worth the full 60 that we're giving you? But I don't know. I think the Browns did a really, really nice job. Of course, I'm going back to the Browns and the Jets not signing them after this offer was out there, because that's just way too much for a guy that has only really had one good year. So I'm going to pass this on to Dean and see what he thinks.
Yeah, I mean, when you're paying a guy like Trey Hendrickson $15 million a year and $32 million over the first 2 years, I mean, he did play obviously well this season with New Orleans, but I just don't think he's worth that $16 million contract that he got.
If you guys want to go for a couple, I'll let you do it. Oh wait, can I talk about Ryan? Can I talk about Fitzy? This is one I want to talk about. We actually have a a friend who's a Washington fan, and he said that he was actually really happy with the signing But Ryan Fitzpatrick, 1 year, 10 million could be up to 12. And for a team that needs a quarterback, yes, we can buy into the whole Taylor Heineke meme as much as we want, and I think he could be good. He really impressed me versus the Buccaneers. But I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is the day one starter here. Um, so to the Washington football team, with a team that has Logan Thomas, Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, those are the like big three offensive threats. I think they are still in one or two wide receivers, and then I like J.D. McKissick as a backup running back. But you look at this wide receiver class in the draft, and you're like, it's pretty loaded. Um, I think at number 19 they could get a guy like Kadarius Toney or a guy like Rashad Bateman. I don't think they're gonna be able to get like Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, definitely not Jamar Chase. So I think they could definitely get Toney or Bateman, like I was saying, but with a Ryan Fitzpatrick gunslinger type guy, he's gonna want to throw the ball, but like you look at Ryan Fitzpatrick's teams and you're like, oh, and he hasn't had great running backs, so that's why he's like really had to run the ball a lot. Or that's why his passing numbers are like a lot or like really big. He hasn't had great running backs, so I think now with Antonio Gibson, I think we'll be able to see Ryan Fitzpatrick not so much go on a streaky thing that we've seen for his entire career. I think he now will play a lot more consistently because he's gonna have a consistent ground game. So I think definitely that this is a good move from Washington, and I think that I think it is going to help them. And now I'd say Cowboys and Washington are the favorites for the division. Even though the Giants signed Kenny Galladay, I just really just don't see them winning the division at all. Still have Danny Dimes at quarterback, like it's gonna be if Saquon can stay healthy in that offensive line. They lost Kevin Zeitler, so they lost their best offensive lineman, so that really does not help their case at all. So if I had to put money on it, I'd probably say this is tough. We don't have a lot of time about it, but if something comes up next week, we'll definitely talk about it. You guys may continue. I just wanted to talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Washington football team. So you can continue.
All right. So obviously we've had some stuff going on. Not really too much to talk about except for Broncos picking up Von Miller's option on his contract. That gives him $17.5 million as his base salary for the 2021 season. A guaranteed $7 million. Obviously, there's been some stuff going on with Von Miller this offseason. We won't get too much into that. It's not really our business to talk about that. But obviously, the Super Bowl MVP, he's had an incredible career with the Denver Broncos. This might be his last season, and he might just call it a career.
No, I don't think he'll retire.
You think he'll stay with Denver?
No, I don't think he'll stay with Denver. I don't think he'll retire.
How old is he? He's at least
I think he's like 35.
5.
Maybe
Yeah,
no. I think he's
that's not
33. I think he's 33 actually.
Yeah. So I mean, 33 years old. Not really much there. Patriots. Hunter Henry. We got a little bit into the fact of the Johnny Smith thing. Hunter Henry and Johnny Smith. It's kind of weird, but we'll see what happens. The Cincinnati Bengals, Cowboys.
I like that signing. I think he was. I think he was just with Dallas, and people were like, oh, Dallas was good, but he was actually one of the better corners. That's not saying a lot, but for a Bengals team that lost William Jackson to Washington, which we'll also talk about, I think signing a Awuzie was a really good signing, and no, they're not going to be competitive, but I think this could help them lock down versus teams that have good receivers. So I like that signing. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, so Jaguars, obviously, they signed Shaq Griffin to a massive deal. 3 years, $44 million. In my opinion, big for him. But it's not it's not to take away from the fact that he's a very talented corner. 3 years, $44.5 million.
Ayo, don't you mean 3 years, $445 million?
Yeah, 444. 3 years, $445 million. If you guys didn't see, there's just Adam Schefter accidentally tweeted out it was 3 years, $445 million. I showed Andrew, and he was like, "Wow!" I was like, "Bro, he made a typo, bro. It's so funny. He's getting like 147 million a year.
Yeah, something like that. That would have been insane.
Not much to talk about. Robert Tonyan gets a second round tender.
What does that even mean?
I don't even know. Is it like a second round trade or like swap picks? They get.
Yeah, let's
I don't
see.
know even
What?
But as you're looking that up, the Tyson Alualu goes back to Jacksonville. I'm pretty sure he played with Pittsburgh. Tyson Alualu.
Yeah, he
I'm pretty
did.
sure going back to Jacksonville. Mike Hilton headed to the Bengals from the Steelers.
Okay, let's see. It says the second round tender means a second round pick. The right of first round refusal tender with no compensation because league. Yeah, I have no idea.
Anyway, Rangers released three-time Pro Bowl center Ronnie Hudson, which is massive because Ronnie Hudson's one of the best.
No, they didn't actually release him. Like something, like no, because then he got traded to the Cardinals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a, no, yeah, I remember this happening. It's like someone, Rappaport tweeted that he was released, and they're like, instead of releasing, he was traded to Arizona.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know what happened there.
Brown signed Tack McKinley, 5 year mil, 1 year, 5 mil. So, not really much there. Colts placed a second round tender on Zach Pascal.
You don't know what
and
that
then
means still.
a lot of times. Giants signed Leonard Williams back to a 3-year, $63 million contract. That is very, very big. That's about 21 million a year. 45 of it's fully guaranteed. So the deal's worth up to $63 million. He was scheduled to make 19.35 mil for this year, but the two sides had until July 15th to agree upon this without an extension. So as they did place the franchise tag on him.
Yeah, this was one of these situations where it was like they couldn't quite agree to a deal, and the Giants didn't want to lose him, and so basically they were like, let's tag you for now, but we are going to continue working on a deal just so that way he couldn't get a better offer from a different team and sign with them. Yeah, that's like 99% what happened. I would, it's like, yeah.
So, lost the Giants. I mean, 1 year deal is not incredibly important. Tremont Williams retired. Obviously, played for the Packers. Had really good.
Wait, John Ross signed with the Giants?
Yeah, are you not aware of this?
No, I was not.
Yeah.
Whoa, what? Okay.
John Ross signed.
I mean, that's kind of insane, adding to the wide receiver. He's not been good. I mean, he's just really fast. He's just really fast. But anyway, yeah.
Jackson. I mean, I want the Browns to pick him up. Probably not going to happen. We'll see. Chiefs release Damian Williams Super Bowl MVP. By the way, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't really hop on that train of Damian Williams should have won Super Bowl MVP when they beat the 49ers.
I think they could have.
I mean, they could have. I don't really care, honestly.
Yeah. But I think releasing him, I think this just puts their trust in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, not bringing back Le'Veon Bell, and then re-signing Darrell Williams. So Damian Williams is definitely an interesting case. He showed being good, but I'm not really sure. Like where he's gonna sign with. There are a lot of teams that are just a good running back away, or maybe even a backup somewhere. Yeah. So who knows?
The Bears signed Andy Dalton.
Alright, funny story. Andy Dalton. So every Chicago fan, they were like, "Yes, sir, we're getting Russell Wilson. All the stars are aligned. We're doing this, that." They offered a great deal. Honestly, if I'm the Seahawks, I'm taking this deal. You get 3 first-round picks. You get Kyle Fuller and Akeem Hicks. You telling me you're gonna?
They would call Fuller and Akeem Hicks.
Yeah, Kyle Fuller and Akeem Hicks.
Corners after Shaq Griffin's gone.
Yo, you're telling me that?
I would have that a heartbeat.
Well, I would have done that because like the Bears, I feel like you could. The Seahawks could have traded up for like Mac Jones, even though I don't think he would have fit because the offensive line wasn't great and is not mobile at all. So, um, I feel like the Seahawks. I feel like if I was a Seahawks GM, I would have done that, but I guess not. So anyway, everyone was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get Russell Wilson," and then they declined. They're like, "Oh no!" And then they signed Andy Dalton, just fuel to the fire. Andy Dalton, he was okay with Cowboys last year. So he's Andy Dalton said that he was told that he was gonna be the starter for Dallas or for Chicago. Um, 10 years, a chance to earn $3 more in incentives, and they lost Mitchell Trubisky, who not good. I honestly feel like this is an upgrade over Trubisky. Are they going to win the division? No. Are they going to make the playoffs? Probably not. Especially after releasing Kyle Fuller. So I feel like the Bears, like for what it is, it's a good signing. Like you take out the consideration that they were gonna get Russell, that they were so close to getting Russell Wilson. This is a good signing. The fact that Nick Foles was going to be your quarterback and who's a guy who's just not good. I hate to say it, I love Nick Foles. He beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. He's just not good anymore. So, I mean, I'm not saying that Andy Dalton is either, but he's definitely an upgrade over Trubisky and over Foles. So, I mean, I take him. So, yeah, 1 year, $10 million, probably a little bit of an overpay, but they needed a quarterback. And much like this other team with the Texans signing Tyrod Taylor, I feel like this was just in case they ended up do trade Deshaun Watson, or heck, maybe even gets a suspension for what's been going on with him. So they signed Tyrod Taylor to a 1 year, $12.5 million. Overpaid for Tyrod, but they needed a quarterback, whether it was going to be a backup or a starter for if in case they trade Deshaun Watson or he gets suspended or anything like that. So I like this move. I mean, I just like Tyrod Taylor. I don't know why, I just do. He's just one of the guys that you feel so bad because he lost his starting job last year in such an awful way.
What if his lungs never got punctured? What do you think would have happened with Herbert?
I feel like Herbert obviously wouldn't have played this year. I mean, I feel like he. No, I think he would have started eventually, but I don't think he would have won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
It would have gone to Justin Jefferson.
Burrow didn't get hurt as well, or Justin Jefferson had the same exact season.
Yeah. So
easily went to Jefferson.
Yeah, so I like this signing from the Texans just because we don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson anymore. Whether it's a trade or a suspension or even a release, who knows? That'd be crazy if he just got straight up released.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be 10 teams trying to get him.
Yeah. Next up, the Jaguars sign Marvin Jones, 2 year, $14.5 million contract. I really like this signing. I feel like Marvin Jones is really underrated. I feel like you put him with DJ Chark and he could be an 800+ yard receiver. Put him with Trevor Lawrence. I really like this signing. I really like Marvin Jones, and looking at it from like a fantasy perspective next year, Marvin Jones is gonna be really good next year. So take it.
A flex.
Yeah, put him like at a flex spot. So I really like that signing from the Jags. Next, Dolphins get their backup quarterback. They lost Ryan Fitzpatrick. They had to sign someone else, and they get the main man, Jacoby Brissett. Dolphins, they were super quiet the first couple days, then it just came all in a wave. So he's going to be the backup on a 1 year, $7.5 million deal for Brissett. And honestly, I like this deal. I feel like he'll be able to teach Tua more. I feel like he'll be able to teach him what NFL Open is, throw into those tight windows when you need to. So I really like that signing from Miami. It's 1 year, $7.5 million for the backup. And we're not overpaying for these guys like the Tyrod Taylors or who else did we see? I forgot who else. Dalton, yeah, Dalton. So we're not overpaying for him or anything like that. And here, I want to talk about Matt Hawk. So I'll let you talk about Janoris Jenkins, and then if you want to, Malcolm Brown. Oh, there were 2 Malcolm Browns. I just realized that.
Yeah.
2 Malcolm Browns.
So Janoris Jenkins, he got signed I think a couple hours after they released Odori Jackson.
Yeah.
But Janoris Jenkins is a lot older than Odori Jackson.
It was just that Odoi Jackson just kept getting hurt.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I would not. I mean, a lot of teams, to some team that gets Adore Jackson's going to be getting a heck of a player.
Yeah.
But Janoris Jenkins, I mean, another veteran corner to that team. Obviously, they don't have Malcolm Butler, who's a big veteran for that team. But obviously, and then they lost another veteran in Desmond King. But we'll get to that kind of stuff later. The Titans, when they announced release of Adoree Jackson and Dennis Kelly, um, it was like they're going to be signing a corner in free agency. We're going to see who it is. And it ended up being Janoris Jenkins. I mean, if they waited patiently, they could have got Kyle Fuller. If they
Yeah.
waited a day or two, could have got Kyle Fuller.
Yeah, they could still get Richard Sherman.
Still, but that's another veteran presence in that locker. They got to fill it up with younger guys.
Yeah, they could probably draft someone with their draft
mean,
position.
The
Actually,
Jenkins-
no, because you had the two really good corners, and then after that, it kind of falls off. So they would have to trade up. They could probably trade up to like 15 or so and try to get J.C. Horn. That could happen.
They could.
Yeah. Next, this.
I think J.C. Horn will go like 26 to Cleveland, honestly.
Maybe. But,
Caleb Barkley and
Patrick Sotano, like the two main guys. And then, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if there's like a sign from God or like a miracle that Patrick Surtain like falls to 26.
Yeah, like he has a horrible combine or something.
Oh my God, I'll be so happy. Snub the combine.
Yeah, he skips it. He just skips the combine.
Oh,
Says bye-bye, Roger. Bye-bye, Roger Goodell. Next one. This one hurts. The fake punt legend, Matt Hawk. Sad. Signs with Buffalo. We signed a punter earlier in the week. Some guy from Carolina. He's actually a pretty good punter. Matt Hawk he's a good punter, but he's not great. But Matt Paladis, I believe is his name, is a true punter for the Dolphins. As much as I wanted to keep Matt Hawk, I just don't think it was going to happen because there's no sense in keeping two punters, I guess. But the Bills add him. Corey Bajorquez, I butchered that so hard, but he was actually pretty good, so I'm not sure if he was a free agent or what. But they add Matt Hawk. Miami, if you're smart, you play Buffalo, and there's a punt formation, and it's like 4th and less than 10. Fake punts coming, most likely. So, yeah, just be ready for that. I like the signing for the Bills. I feel like, I don't know why, Matt Hawk just feels, other than the Dolphins, he just feels like he fits with the Bills. I don't know, something that's weird. Okay, next up, we got Malcolm Brown heading to the Miami Dolphins to be their probably starting linebacker. He's averaged over 4 yards a carry for his career, and like 4 is like good. 4 is like the average, or like you want to be above 4 is like what I'm trying to get at here. And so I honestly feel like he's gonna be good for us. I feel like he just fits. I feel like I watched, like, whenever the Dolphins do anything, I always like to watch their press conferences, and I feel like Malcolm Brown had a really nice press conference with us. So I like this. I really like this move from us, and I feel like he's going to be very, very good for us. And next up, I'm trying to just see. Matt Stafford and Jared Goff finally are officially members of their new team. So that's good. As I'm scrolling through this, I've seen a couple kickers re-sign, Cody Parkey, and I believe the other one was Nick Folk with the Pats. So I like those. I mean, Nick Folk, he's okay. Cody Parkey, I think, is like, everyone's gonna forever remember him as the double doink man. But I feel like other than that, he's actually been pretty good in his career. So I feel like those are good things. And next, I finally got down to where I was. Next, Akilo Witherspoon to the 49ers, to the Seahawks from the 49ers. And the Seahawks need as much defense in general depth as they can get. And signing Akilo Witherspoon, who's actually pretty good last year, had to step into that number 2 cornerback role with all the injuries to the 49ers. Signing with the Seahawks, who lost Shaquille Griffin. He's no Shaquille Griffin. Shaquille Griffin is top 10 in the league. But Killer Witherspoon will be able to fit in nicely. Next, Emmanuel Sanders to the Bills. He's like 38 now. He's a trooper out here, signing with the Bills, but have fun getting locked up by Noah Igbenogany, dude. But anyway, Emmanuel Sanders, I had high hopes for him last year with the Saints. It did not turn out super well, but I feel like it's gonna be okay. He's gonna get around 600 to 700 yards with the Bills and Josh Allen. So overall, it's a good signing. 1 year, not too expensive, anything like that. Next, William Jackson to the Washington Football Team. 3 years, $42 million. I like this signing. He's only 28. Bengals. He was a great man corner. He was a great man corner for them. That's been his game for the past couple of years since he's entered the league. And he signs with Washington, who, outside of Kendall Fuller, I feel like their corners do need a number 2, and they got that with William Jackson. And they also got a number 2 receiver behind Curtis Samuel, behind Terry McLaurin with Curtis Samuel, which I really like that. He's a jack of all trades, can play running back, or wide receiver, wherever you need to. He's a speedster, as he was with that Panthers team with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. So I really like those 2 signings from Washington, and the more I think about it, the more I want to say Washington is going to win the division, but I don't know. Rams and Lions make another trade. Rams send Michael Brockers to the Lions, and I think this will help Romeo Okwara with his development here. And if you notice, that's just me. Kareem and Dean had to leave. I think they're going to go eat dinner now. But Michael Brockers to the Lions, I think overall that is a good trade for the Lions. I think it was only for like a 7th round pick or something. Brockers had a down season last year, but I don't think he's going to ever be like what he was a couple of years ago. But I think that could be a little good trade for the Lions. Next up, the Lions are signing Jamal Williams, and Jamal Williams has a talent to be a number 1 running back, but he's just taking a deal to be a backup to DeAndre Swift, most likely. But I feel like Swift and Williams, that's going to be a deadly combo for Jared Goff. DeAndre Swift kind of reminds me of Todd Gurley. I think they played like at least 1 season together at Georgia. So I feel like DeAndre Swift just gives me Todd Gurley vibes with, and then remember back when Todd Gurley was like best running back in the game with the Rams and Jared Goff. So I think that'll help Jared Goff as well. And then Jamal Williams is just a really good running back, honestly. I wanted Miami to sign him or Aaron Jones, and I would have been happy. But hey, I'm not mad about Malcolm Brown necessarily, but just would have, wanted more. But next, big move from the 49ers. They were seeing the Cardinals get J.J. Watt, and they're like, ooh, we got to beef up our O-line, making Trent Williams the highest paid offensive lineman in history. 138 years over 6 years, and he's already 32. He's going to be playing until he's 38 as an offensive lineman. But, Trent Williams is one of the best linemen in the game. Is he the best of all time? No, not even close. But I'm not going to say I like it because it is a lot of money for Trent Williams, and I don't know if he deserves that much. He is a great player, but I don't know if I would have given him a 6-year deal for $138 million. That's just so much. Probably one of the worst signings, not so great signings, in this first week of free agency. So, I think they had to bring him back, and they did. They just overpaid for him. Saints, Pats, Raiders signing John Brown, 1-year deal, $3.75 million. He is their Nelson Aguilar replacement. Aguilar is better, but John Brown is just another one of those speedy guys that I think the Raiders want to move forward, but yet they cut Mariota. So they're gonna be rolling with Derek Carr for at least another season. So, and I just feel like they have this like scheme going of like this fat, like overall just fast team, and then they just have Derek Carr. He's just that one guy that just does not fit anymore. They also made another deal with Kenyon Drake, formerly of the Dolphins, made the Miami Miracle. Forever love you for that, Kenyon. And also with the Arizona Cardinals. Drake, he's one of these just average running backs, but have fun getting destroyed by no offensive line, literally none, from the Raiders. So, you know, I feel like that these two pass moves from the Raiders have been okay. Nothing special. John Brown's probably gonna have to take a back seat to Henry Ruggs. At least that's the Raiders' hope. Out here, what they can do out there in Vegas. Dolphins, like I said, it went in a wave. They signed Justin Coleman for a 1 year, $2.75 million. Started all 16 games last season, mostly in slot corner. And when we have to go up against Cole Beasley twice a year, he's best slot guy in the league. I feel like he is going to be good as a number 3 slot guy. So I actually really like this signing for us. I'm really excited to see what he can do with Byron Jones and Xavier Howard and Noah Igbenogany and Nick Needham and Brandon Jones at safety. And I'm just excited to see what that. Ted Karras going back to New England, went from New England to Miami, back to New England, like so many players have. 1 year, $4 million. David Andrews won't be back with the team, although I thought he did. I really like this signing from New England. I mean, he was okay with us. But next up, Adam Butler's going to Miami, going from New England to Miami. Pretty much is just going to replace Devon Godshaw. I like Devon Godshaw more than Adam Butler, but it is what it is. 2-year deal for Butler. Cardinals got AJ Green on a 1 year deal for $8.5 million. He's gonna be probably the number 2 or 3 behind obviously DeAndre Hopkins and then Christian Kirk. If I had to guess, it's probably gonna go Hopkins, Kirk, Green, Larry Fitzgerald if he doesn't retire, then Andy Isabella. He's a veteran. He's gonna be able to teach those younger guys along with Fitz. Some different techniques. $6 million guaranteed. Poor Bengals fans. He lost everyone except for Trey Hendrickson, who you added. So many things. Jayon Brown back to the Titans. I like that move. He's very underrated, and coming back to the Titans on a 1 year deal, $5.25 million. Pretty underrated linebacker for them. And then the Raiders. It was a whole mess with Rodney Hudson. First they released him, then they traded him to the Cardinals. So as of right now, he is an Arizona Cardinal for a 3rd-round pick. And then the Raiders also sending Gabe Jackson to the Seahawks. So 2 of their 2 best linemen are gone just like that. So have fun, Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I feel like Rodney Hudson is probably one of, if not the best center in the game. You could make an argument for like Corey Linsley or someone like that. But Rodney Hudson has just been doing it for a long time. They also lost Trent Brown as well, so they were just tearing that offensive line apart. They better be taking someone that number 17 pick in the draft. Marlon Mack, who I really like, is just so unfortunate that he tore his Achilles this year, and then Jonathan Taylor as well. So I really like Marlon Mack. He's probably going to be the actual number 2 back this year, and then Naheem Hines is going to be a receiving back. But Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor, that's really good. I'm excited to see what they can do. Robert Foster, he's been okay. He's been pretty stinky, not gonna lie, throughout his career. He's a good kick returner, good special teamer. He just kept battling with injuries with the Bills and Alabama, teaming back up with Tua. So it's a whatever. Panthers had Hassan Reddick. Boy, that's a good move by them. I feel like this is what the Panthers are going for, a young defense that can just get after the pass rusher. They did it with Brian Burns, Derek Brown, and all these guys, and now they're adding Hassan Reddick. What a pickup from them. I love this move. They also add Denzel Perryman to that linebacker core. So I think they are just one more corner and safety and maybe one more linebacker away from having an elite defense. So I really like these two moves from them. Hassan Reddick is going to be a beast for you guys. Um, Next, Kyle Long joins the Chiefs. 1 year, $5 million. The Chiefs just to protect Mahomes even more. And Lions, former Lions, also kicker heading to Arizona, Matt Prater, one of the strongest legs in the league. And Zane Gonzalez is just not good. He was their kicker last year. He choked the game versus Miami. So Matt Prater is still producing at a high level and a crazy good offensive. Arizona Cardinals offense I could lead to a lot of scores for him for fantasy. So he might be one of the first kickers taken in fantasy next year. Next, former Rams tight end Gerald Everett signing with Seattle. I like this move. 1 year, $7 million. And for a team that was maybe you could get Zach Ertz, but they decided to get Gerald Everett. So now Will Dissly, who's had injury problems in the past, and Gerald Everett in that tight end room, I like that. They're definitely not the best. They're definitely not the worst tight ends in the world, but it's just gonna help give Russell Wilson more time in the pocket, which is what he wants. Gerald Everett is more known for being athletic, being a nice pass catching option for Jared Goff in the past, but I think he'll be pretty good with Seattle next this upcoming season. Already talked about Curtis Samuel. Already talked about Gabe Jackson. Patrick Peterson to the Vikings. I hate to say it, but Patrick Peterson is not the same Patrick Peterson, and he's only 30. I feel like he could be. I think he could be. I think he still could be. Pretty okay for the Vikings, but he's just not been the same the past couple of years, and that has really shown. But with the Vikings, 1 year, $10 million, a little bit overpaid for him. Cleveland Dino happy. Rashard Higgins is coming back to the Browns. 2.38 fully guaranteed. He's a nice number 3 receiving option. I don't know if I'd like him as my number 2, but I like him as my number 3, and then Donovan Peoples-Jones is number 4. Then obviously Jarvis Landry is going to be there, and then we're not sure about Odell quite yet. I think they should trade him, honestly, but that's just my opinion. I'd love to see what other Browns think. Yeah. Oh, another kicker that I missed, Ryan Suckup returning to the Buccaneers on a 3-year deal. He was just he was just pretty good this season. Never really missed any bad kicks. He missed the ones that you're yeah, I understand, and he made the easy ones. So that's all you want from a kicker. So yeah. Miami Dolphins making me mad, bro. Kyle Van Noy is back to the Patriots. It's a good move. Great linebacker. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm mad. Bengals add to that defensive line even more by signing former Browns defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi. Did not have a great 2020. He's had a couple good previous seasons, but just 2020 was not great for him. But teaming up with Trey Hendrickson, I think will be a bounce back season. And I like what the Bengals are doing over there. They're probably going to take Penei Sewell at number 5, or maybe someone else. No, what am I saying? I'm not talking myself out of them not taking Penei Sewell. So they're going to take Penei Sewell at 5. So I really like what the Bengals are doing over there. Mike Thomas, wide receiver from the Bengals, did go away, and you hurt us last year by just popping Jakeem Grant twice. Patrick Chung, he's 33 years old. I had no idea he was already that old. I think he played 11 seasons. Didn't play the past couple of years because of a broken arm, and then he opted out this year. So, Patrick Chung has been pretty good over the course of his career, and hey, Patriots fans will forever remember him. He as making that one play in Super Bowl 51 that cost him the next season. Mike Glennon signs with the Giants. Nice. Trying to scroll up here. Blake Bell to the Chiefs. Good blocking tight end. Dolphins finding a new center. Matt Skura. 1 new deal. It's another one of these prove it deals. Like I was saying, he got injured this year. He's not a great snapper, so I feel like he'd be a better fit at guard. He's still on that interior of the offensive line. But since we let Ted Karras go, I feel like signing a center was a must, and we did that. Matt Skura, like I said, not the greatest snapper, so could move him to guard. Maybe draft offensive lineman, like a center late in like second, third round. So Matt Skura, I actually really like him. He's a great blocker. Would fit very well at guard, I think. At least more than center. Jared Cook signs with the Chargers on a 1-year deal. He after losing Hunter Henry, I feel like they needed a tight end. And even though Justin Herbert didn't really throw to Hunter Henry last year, um, I feel like I think Herbert will learn to be like, hey, I have this good tight end, let me throw to him. And so I like Jared Cook. He still has a fumbling problem, but I just think that Jared Cook, even at his old age, he's just been quietly one of the better tight ends in the league. But he just keeps getting older and older, so I'm not so sure how long he'll be able to play. However, Ryan Izzo to the Texans for a 7th rounder, cool, whatever. Kyle Rudolph is signing with the Giants to be the backup tight end, and now they have a lot of tight ends. They have Caden Smith, I think they have like Coolio or something like that. They have Kyle Rudolph and Evan Ingram. Kyle Rudolph, great red zone tight end. I think he's one of the better red zone tight ends in the league. So you have like the big play Evan Ingram, and then you have the red zone threat Kyle Rudolph, who's also a pretty good blocker. So I believe it's a 1-year, $7 to $10 million contract. Bills signed Mitchell Trubisky, MVP. Bills GM said that this is a reset for Trubisky and that he doesn't expect the number 4. Yeah, I feel like this is just, hey, even though Josh Allen was taking the year after him, he's gonna be like, hey, this is how you beat a quarterback, hey. But it's a 1-year, $2.5 million. It's like the Bills GM said it perfectly. This is a reset for him. Just a change of scenery might be nice for him. And I feel like Trubisky I feel like 1 year behind Josh Allen can make him an average NFL quarterback. I'm saving this for last. I don't care what anyone says. Lions release Chase Daniel. Patriots resign Nick Folk. Theo Riddick to the Raiders, cool. Troy Hill, we already talked about. Keelan Cole to the Jets, teaming up with Corey Davis down in New York. So, he's gonna be a solid number 2 receiver for them. Texans released Dan Fells and Brian Angry, the punter and tight end, respectively. Tight end and punter, respectively. So, saved $2.3 million. Brian Angry's an okay punter. And Darren Fells has been bad. Panthers add David Moore to replace Curtis Samuel. He's no Curtis Samuel, but he'll be a nice number 3 option for them. Rashad Perriman signs with the Lions. Desmond King signing with Houston, 1 year, $3.5 million. They got him really cheap. I from what I've heard, Desmond King is, and like from what I know, he's really good. So $3.5 million seems like a very big steal from the Titans. So I like this deal. It just stinks that it's with the Texans. Bears released Kyle Fuller, free up $14 million cap space, but then he signed with the Denver Broncos, a team back with Vic Fangio, and I said it earlier, Broncos are quietly having a very, very good offseason. So expect them to be. They're not going to compete with like the Chargers, or I think they're still going to come in 4th place unless they address that quarterback situation. But with Drew Lock, but Kyle Fuller to the Broncos, I like that move. He's going to be their number 1. Bryce Callahan is another really good corner. So Kyle Fuller is top 5 cornerback in the game. And I really like that signing. Just poor Bears fans. They've gone through so much now. 49ers signed Alex Mack. This is one of those guys that, like, Miami signed Matt Skura, and he's a center, but he's not the greatest at snapping. So we signed Alex Mack. We move Matt Skura to guard. That would have been nice, but he goes with the 49ers. 3-time Pro Bowler, was with Kyle Shanahan before, and goes there again to help protect Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm assuming that's who their quarterback is going to be. They could get Trey Lance in the draft. They would trade up a little bit. But Alex Mack is really good at center. So, yeah. Lamarcus Joyner to the Jets, good signing. 1 year, $4.5 million. He's 30. Maybe 2 years, two years. So, Marcus Joyner teaming up with Marcus May, top safety in the game. And Lamarcus Joyner, he's been okay throughout his career. And so I feel like the Jets just keep adding to their defense. So yeah. Next up, David Andrews. He's going to the Patriots, finalizing a deal to return. So he's a top center in the game. I also would have liked us to sign him. I feel like David Andrews is top center in the game, like I said, and they're just putting all their eggs in one basket with Cam Newton here this offseason. Bengals release Geno Atkins, rip. Bring back Cody Parkey. Broncos signed new 4-year deal with Justin Simmons, top safety in the game. 4 year, 65, includes $35 million guaranteed. So I really like Justin Simmons. Like, safety is such a loaded position. It's hard to rank them outside like the top 3. So Justin Simmons, he will forever haunt my nightmares, sadly. But Justin Simmons, really good deal for them. They need him to, be there for them to, help out that defend that, yeah. Who was I even talking about? Yeah, that defense. My mind went blank and I forgot who I was talking about there for a second. Adoree Jackson later, no, he didn't sign. Juju back with the Ravens. Back with the Steelers. 1 year, $8 million. This is another one of these prove it to be like, hey, yeah, I saw all the memes about me being TikTok boy and all that, but he got better offers from the Ravens and Chiefs, but he was like, no, I want to go back to the Steelers. I want to stay with home. I want to team up with my TikTok friends. So anyway, but all jokes aside, Juju is a good number 2 receiver. I don't think he's built to be a number 1 receiver, and I think him being a number 2 receiver fits him better. I like the Steelers don't have a true number 1. They have 3 number 2s in my opinion. So they've 3 number 2s and that collectively adds up to a 1.5. So take it as you want. Juju back to the Steelers. I like $8 million. That's probably right around what I would have paid him. Not gonna lie. Big one. Another one of these guys that I wanted Miami to get. Seahawks are re-signing Chris Carson. He's really, really good. He's a good pass catcher, good strong physical guy. Who can just bowl through people. 3 years, $24.65 million. He's 26, but he's just been battling with injuries. And if he can stay healthy, he will be like, I think he can be top 10. I think he's already top 10. He can make his way into top 5 running backs if he can stay healthy and just prove to be a little bit better of a blocker and a little bit better of a pass catcher. Next, Philip Lindsay to the Texans. 1 year, $3.25 million with $1 million guaranteed. I think he'll be the starter. I don't think David Johnson or Mark Ingram will be. I feel like those two will be the 2 and 3, and then Lindsay will start. But who knows? Maybe Mark Ingram comes out and balls out. Yeah. Dolphins trade waive Isaiah Wilson days after trade. He was skipping multiple optional workouts. He was declined all the support that he needed to, get back mentally. He was hours late to physicals that it says, so Isaiah Wilson, when will you learn, my dude? You were given a fresh opportunity in Miami and you just threw it away. I don't understand what's running through that man's head at all. So safety and Keanu Neal. Keanu Neal. I almost said Keanu Real, like Keanu Reeves mixed with Keanu Neal. It reminds me of that one Pro Bowl clip, when Jarvis Landry was tackled by Keanu Neal and he said Keanu Reeves. But 1 year deal. He spent all of his career with the Atlanta Falcons with Dan Quinn, and now he's teaming back up with Dan Quinn as defensive coordinator in Dallas. So this is a good signing, and for the team that lost Awuzie and their defense was already awful, I feel like they needed to make some sort of news in free agency on defense, and they did exactly that, signing Keanu Neal. We'll come back to Kenny Galladay. Xavier Rhodes, heading back to Indy, he had a great 2020, and I feel like um, I just he's just like who am I? My mind keeps going blank. Who am I talking about? Xavier Rhodes. He had a great 2020 with the Colts, and I feel like he's going to be an important part to that defense if they want to do what they did this year again. Three-time Pro Bowler, played great last year. 1 year, $6.5 million. So, hey, Indy, I think they'll win that AFC South. I feel like Wentz is an upgrade over Rivers, and I feel like the Titans won't be as good as they were last year. Second to last thing before we head into my favorite team, their biggest move, Kenny Galladay signs with the New York Giants. 4 years, $72 million. Deal can be worth up to $76 million. It includes $40 million guaranteed, so pretty similar to the Shaq Barrett deal, honestly. But Daniel Jones just needed someone to throw the ball to, and that is exactly what they got with Kenny Galladay. No one's open. Well, Kenny Galladay is one-on-one. Let me just throw it up to him, and he's going to catch it. So, I mean, Kenny Galladay, I thought wanted to win, but I guess he wanted to but he went to a losing team. But, and like all the teams that were they were like the Bengals and the Giants and the Jets, and I was like, I thought you wanted to win, my guy. Like, that's why you left Detroit. But, no, he goes to the Giants. Maybe he sees something that no one else sees in this offense, but Daniel Jones is not the answer. Saquon Barkley is really good. The only question is, can he stay healthy, and can that offensive line block for him? Because we saw what he did in his rookie year, but with no running back is only as good as his offensive line. So, and then with a pitiful offensive line for the Giants, I don't know how much Saquon is going to do, but now you can be like, oh, they're going to be focused on Kenny. That doesn't really matter because Saquon Barkley, I think, is better at his respective position than Kenny Galladay. So, I like this deal, but it's going to be, can they fix that offensive line, and can they address quarterback in the next couple of years? And the next big deal going on here is main man Will Fuller signing with the Miami Dolphins on a 1 year, $8 million contract. This is another one of these prove it deals. Prove that you can keep up that success that you had with Deshaun Watson last year. Yes, I know the whole suspension thing. You won't be able to play until week 2. But here's the thing. We can go 1 week. Say we play the Patriots or if we play the Jets week 1, that's still an automatic W. I don't care what you say. I feel like, but if we would play the Bills, I don't think we would have won anyway. But I feel like with Will Fuller now, that just adds that deep threat for us. He adds a lot of speed. He adds a lot of route running. The only problem with him is going to be staying on the field. So whether that's not being suspended, which he was this year, or whether that's going to be staying healthy, which he has had a problem with in the past, it is all a big question mark with Will Fuller here. But he was my number 1 receiver that I wanted in free agency. Him more than Kenny Galladay, more than anyone else. So I feel like Will Fuller just adds another level to that Miami offense, and along with the signing of like Malcolm Brown, who's an underrated guy, with the signing of Matt Skura and all that, I feel like Will Fuller is going to just add another level to this Miami offense that we haven't seen really since Jarvis Landry I want to say 3 years ago now. So, and now everyone is saying like, oh, Deshaun Watson in Miami. No, that's still not happening. He's not. Brian Flores has said that he's gonna stick with Tua. They've been meeting. Tua's been really working out. He's been trying to get stronger. He's been working with other athletes. I saw a picture of him with Dalvin Cook, working out. So I'm really excited for this season for Miami. Hopefully, this is gonna sound really weird, 17-game season, but maybe 11-6, 12-5, something like that. If it is the if it is the 12 or 17 game season. It might not, but you know, I'm just really excited for the NFL season this season, and next week, look forward. There are probably going to be more NFL news, but the MLB season at that point will only be just a few days away, and we'll go over like you know a first round fantasy baseball mock draft. I'll give you a hint. Uh, Number two might shock you. Not gonna lie, but I feel like just get excited for that. There were a few points in there, but I want to talk about. There might be a small episode coming out later this week, talking about the MLB, but maybe not. I just have to make that up for myself. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Sorry if it's super rushed, it's super late. This whole stupid, it like said that my mic got unplugged, which it didn't, but it is what it is. Sorry if this episode was super rushed, like I said, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, we'll see you next week for episode number 26. Peace.